Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today I want to walk you through some games, not skirmishes, but actually war games versus some other pretty good teams. And I was playing Arcane sub RMP with Mage and Fusion. Mage is playing sub, Fusion is playing Discipline, and I'm playing that Arcane spec. Now, I'm going to play the video, but I do want you guys to keep in mind I'm playing Shimmer, not Mage Armor, and you might be like, why? Mage Armor is OP. It is OP. I agree. But I think in 3v3, that extra mobility from Shimmer, and I'll show you guys what I mean here in a second, is really, really king when you're not really dying anyway. And I'm also playing Ring of Frost instead of the speed boost talent from Arcane Barrage, because that Ring of Frost also helps you get that CC. Right away in this opener, they did a really good job in this opener. Mage counterspelled me, I believe. The Silence went on the Fusion, and the Bash went out onto Notch. They triple CC'd our entire team. And just a side note, guys, they're playing God Comp, right? Frost, Shadow, Archwood. I really hope God Comp becomes a good composition because I love playing God Comp myself, and I really hope this comes back into the metagame. But they're playing God Comp, we're playing RMP. They got a nice big opener up onto Naj, and they do force that Cloak of Shadows right away. Now I'm sheeping the enemy mage and trying to set up onto the priest, and we're kind of wanting to get CC. So right away, we throw out the polymorph on the mage, the kidney on the druid, and we want to go priest. And by the way, we're not in Discord or voice communication either. Trying to get that Ring of Frost out, but I am getting polymorphed. What I could have done is actually counterspell that polymorph, but I don't know if I would have had time to get the ring. But counterspell that poly and try to get the ring. This is our first go. We throw out that smoke bomb because we did not end up landing that CC onto the Resto Druid, and we force dispersion anyway. We force the dispersion because we pop Arcane Power, the 1400 int on use trinket, and just pop Presence of Mind, throw out the Arcane Blast, and he got very scared, so he does go down dispersion. As you can see, my positioning is very, very offensive here. I'm pushed in, and that's because I can spam Spell Steal. If you guys didn't know, as Arcane, you can spam Spell Steal pretty much indefinitely without going and that's really going to give you that upper edge to I'm trying to get that Ring of Frost on the pillar, but I couldn't quite get it, so we feared instead. But being able to spam Spell Steal is going to make it so you're pretty much invincible. We're going to throw that Ring of Frost off the Fear onto that Resto Druid, and then once again, we're going to do another go onto the Priest. Mage is still casting Polymorphs. I don't have a counterspell for another second, and here's what you guys really need to keep in mind. If you're targeting the Druid, and you're, or focusing the Druid rather, and you're targeting the Priest just a couple seconds ago during this go, what you want to keep in mind what the Mage is casting, right? He's casting Polymorph. You can either look right here, or you can look right here on your S Arena or Gladius frames. But regardless, you guys really want to keep an eye on that cast, because if I had counterspell available, boom, we lock down that polymorph, then we can maybe secure that kill. Versus you're doing a go, you're only looking here and here, all of a sudden you get polymorphed out of nowhere, you don't realize it, and then your entire go is peeled, right? So you really want to keep an eye on that third guy as well, and that's the major difference between 2v2 and 3v3, that you guys, it takes a lot of practice, but once you get it down, you're like, oh, okay. But anyway, that's the life swap force from the priest. We forced out the trinket, the dispersion, and the life swap. Now we need one more big go to actually take the priest down. Here is the kidney shot on the druid. He is in moon conform, so I can't cast polymorph, and I don't have Ring of Frost, so there is no way to CC the druid out of this. The druid is 65% life though, so we could maybe do a swap onto him as well. Mage casting poly, and priest is already in that polymorph. I did get polymorph here. Once again, I could have counterspelled that polymorph here on that druid go. Didn't quite do it. I'm spamming it now to counterspell, but I am stuck in those polymorphs. So we did force a skin out from the druid there in that kidney shot, but he has no skin, no trinket, so we could do another clean swap on a druid, but he's playing very well defensively. Look how far the druid is away, so it's going to be very difficult for us to actually get over there. It's a stalemate right now. Priest is kind of waiting for that disperse to come back up. We're kind of waiting for diminishing returns. Not once the DRs are off, Rogue gets a re-stealth, we can actually start to push in once again. Throw the slow out onto the enemy mage. I can just spam out some spell steals, maybe some polymorphs, and right about here is where we go. So we poly the mage, gets dispelled, repoly him, open with a cheap shot onto the priest. No CC onto the druid quite yet. He does go into that tree form, casting the ring, but I do get interrupted. So they kind of waited for us to go, and they stopped our go. Very, very good defensive play here by the God Comp. That's really what you guys want to be aiming for. Exactly what these guys are doing is go. We're pushing in for a go, stop the polymorphs attempt, stop the CC attempt, and now it's your turn to go as the God Comp. So what they're looking to do is throw a stun out on the rogue and a silence out on the priest, as you can see. That's probably what they're aiming for right here. Naj, though, does survive. That looks like that stun was only half there onto the rogue. Full kidney shot out onto the druid now. A little bit too far out of range to actually land this polymorph. Do get interrupted anyway. Trying to go for a ring. It doesn't quite look like we're going to land it, but priest is getting low. If he gets under 35, by the way, I have the Arcane Pressure execute traits for Arcane, so we can just execute him any second that he gets a little bit too low, so he's kind of flirting with death right now, but I think he probably has another Dispersion up pretty soon here. I do have my one-shot back up, guys. I have Presence of Mind, I have Arcane Power, I can definitely push in and get a one-shot once we get some cross CC kind of enabled. We want to force the Druid String it again. There's that Dispersion, potentially back up as well. Ring of Frost, going for that Ring of Frost off that fear, do get interrupted. This mage is playing very well with those interrupts. However, Naj sees it, Vanish saps the Druid off the fear. Now we kind of have a setup, right? I have this counterspell available for the mage if we need it, and boom, it's a 3-on-1 right now. Full sap onto the Druid, counterspell onto the mage, tons of pressure onto the priest. This is exactly what we're looking to set up here. Have that Arcane Power, that Presence of Mind popped, tons of burst damage coming in, under 35, and there's the execute coming in. So just like I said, if he's getting under 35, it's very, very scary for him because of that Arcane Pressure trait. But that was a nice game there, kind of back and forth. Did not do an insane amount of damage, right? The overall damage was not insane coming out from Arcane Mage. However, the spell steals, the CC, being an invincible target almost. It's really, really hard for me to die. And coming in hot with the execute with that one killing blow still makes Arcane a very, very valuable choice. All right, guys, hopping into this next game, we're on one of the new maps, Hook Point. We're fighting a Holy Priest, an Ellie Shaman, and Cloaksy. These names might be familiar. All right, Envioso is the priest. That's the person I played the rank 1 with for the past couple expansions. All right, incredible priest. Ooster is Oz, the shaman I play with, and Cloaksy's FaZe Cloaksy. If you guys actually follow Fortnite at all, he's a really, really good Fortnite player. Also plays World of Warcraft. Not bad at WoW either, Cloaksy. You're impressing me, Cloak. You're impressing me. And he's also a good friend of mine. But there's a sap coming out onto that priest. All right, we're going to do some cross CC with the cheap shot and the poly onto the shaman, and we're going to open up hard onto the warrior. So that's that nice cross CC. We're going to open up really, really hard onto the warrior and force as many cooldowns as possible. Hex was being casted right there. Probably could have counterspelled that Hex. Instead, we're kind of line of sighting. Trinket comes out from the priest on that polymorph to save the warrior, and a full blind comes out as well. Warrior's under a lot of pressure right now. If he gets under 35, we can throw out that execute. He's under top right now, but gets immediately top back off. That's Guardian, that's Ray, that's Rallying Cry. That's a lot of the enemy team's defensives, and that's the Warrior Trinket and the Priest Trinket. So we're looking incredible here in this opener. If we set up another good couple of goes, I think the game could just be over, but my Priest gets feared. I take a ton of damage from the Earth Shock, from the Ellie, Warrior offensive cooldowns as well, and I just have to block, right? I get very, very low and force into the Ice Block. So the Master Spell's coming out, and we actually get that Kidney Smoke Bomb onto the Warrior, so I'm actually fine for now. Because the Shaman can't hit me, but I'm kiting back over to my Priest. This is on purpose, guys. My Priest is right behind me over here, as you can see on the minimap right here. If I were to stay over here, my Priest wouldn't be able to heal me out of that CC, but instead kind of blink towards the Priest so he can actually top me back off. Now, Warrior's getting very low. Actually throw out an execute, but it doesn't finish him off. He actually lives somehow, some way. Beautiful grounding totem there from Oz, actually preventing a lot of that damage, preventing that death onto the Warrior as well. Hex is being casted out. We do not have a Hex spell, so it looks like I'm going to go ahead and sit this one, the Earthbind Totem. Nice control there as well. We do have Polymorph Diminishing Return up on the Priest, so we're looking for a go, like a kidney shot into a poly, into a fear on the Priest, and a big setup on Warrior, but I'm getting very low. Pain Step comes out, barely saves my life here, throwing out that Ring of Frost there on to that kidney shot. Now, I am playing Ring of Frost for this reason, right? So we can actually use it for CC. If I get interrupted on the Ring of Frost, I can throw out that Polymorph. If he throws Grounding, the Ring of Frost still goes. So Ring of Frost is a very good ability when you're specifically playing RMP, so you can do setups like this. Shaman did Trinket there. He's trying to peel this go. Trinket and Grounding Totem. We're going to go ahead and kill that Grounding Totem. Trying to get another Resheep here in a second. We throw the Sheep onto the Shaman. A little bit more damage connecting onto the Warrior. Mind Control onto the Priest. Start that Execute, but he does get Ray of Hope to save his life there, even on that Execute. So every time we're getting this Warrior low, they're rotating through another defensive cooldown. Very well played by the enemy team. Kind of rotating through their defensive. Fusion's throwing that Life Grip over to me. I'm getting very low here. Don't have Ice Block available. Temp Shield getting me back up to about 50% life. Throwing out some Polymorphs to try to sustain my own life. Spamming those spell steals, spamming out those Polymorphs. The invisibility came out trying to polymorph the Shaman, trying to switch it to the Priest. We actually do land it. And now, even though we were just very scared a second ago, now all of a sudden we have that full polymorph. Warrior's low HP, and we can do a lot with that. Now, the Grounding Totem's back here from the Shaman once again. He's the Grounding Totem and the healing surge is being casted. Now that Arcane mages have Arcane missiles without proc, I can use Arcane missiles whenever, you can actually use Arcane missiles to kill grounding. Previously, it was very difficult to deal with grounding because a lot of times you wouldn't want to use Arcane Barrage to actually do it because it would reset your stacks. We overlapped a little bit with CC there, actually a lot with CC there, but the warrior gets so low and the priest is forced to trinket. The MC and the blind actually DR, right? So the fear of the MC and the blind DR, so we actually throw out that half blind there, and we don't end up finishing off the game. So if we would have saved that blind for the next go, it would have been a potential win there as well. However, I kind of understand why Naj did it. If we did just insta-blind that trinket and continue with more pressure, warrior could have also died. But we want to also play a little defensive here, right? We're not playing mage armor, we're playing those double blinks, so we can actually blink while casting to get those CCs. So I'm in trouble, right? I have no wall. I have no ice block. I have no mass invis. I have no trinkets. I have no anything, right? So I need to play in a position where I'm safe. That's why I'm not pushing in completely like I was the other game in here. Now, if I had all those defensive cooldowns and I wasn't a target that was able to die, I would be positioned much differently, right? I'd be pushed in much further. So that's what I really want you guys to understand is the position depends on your defensive cooldowns, your team's defensive cooldowns. A lot of the times, you know, when should I push in, when should I pull out? That's kind of the answer to that. There's the kidney shot onto the priest. Ooh, look at that double ring coming out. Actually, the shaman was immune to that ring, but that ring on the priest and the shaman there, beautiful, like a little position there. And then we're getting some Dark Archangel burst out onto the warrior. Grounding Totem comes out. More healing surges being casted. There's the Grounding Totem. Unfortunate Hex being casted off that shear. Couldn't quite kick that one. And now I'm sitting the full Hex and a Fear. So great peels by the enemy team. Every time we're getting them low, they have an answer to it. Throw out a lot of damage onto the warrior, but that Ray of Hope picking him back up. He's also using retail for a little bit of damage mitigation as well from the rogue side of things. I do get stunned here. Very, very scary. Throwing out the mass invis, the temp shield blinking all over the place. I'm actually so low right now that MC might have actually saved my life. So thank you for that MC there, NVO. So I'm not sure if I would have survived without it, but that temp shield does proc me back up to full HP. Which is very, very nice. And otherwise, I would have died otherwise, right? NVO, so fading the fear there from fusions. That was very, very nice. 12 seconds left on that polymorph DR. Kidney shot there as well onto the priest. So once the kidney DR falls and the poly DR falls, we're going to be able to get a full CC onto the priest and maybe, hopefully, cross CC that Ellie Shaman for once and then finally kill that warrior. But I'm at 1% life to get gripped in shield, go invis, and the cheap smoke bomb. Look at the peels coming out from Naj. These are the incredible Naj peels. We have the kidney shot, the cheap shot, 1% life. The smoke bomb comes out. That was insane. I actually can't believe I lived right there. Full polymorph now onto the priest. Tons of damage coming in onto the warrior. Kill that grounding totem as well. Counterspell the shaman. Resheep there onto the priest. We do force trinket. Mind control comes out on his trinket. Does get purged though. And we do have a full blind for this next setup in 17 seconds. So 17 seconds from now, if we can full blind the priest, throw some CC onto the shaman, kill the warrior right before that warrior's trinket comes up, now that would be our window to win this game. I also have an ice block coming up in about 5 seconds from now, so if we just live, we're going to win this thing, right? Full kidney shot now onto the priest, tons of damage coming onto the warrior, trying to get that Ring of Frost, does get wind sheared. Unfortunately, trying to throw a little bit more CC onto that shaman as well. He's immune to sheep for 6 more seconds. There's the full fear coming out. Divine, him being casted by the priest, immediately fate cast. Double blink, I actually want to highlight that. Priest was here, but I wanted to change my positioning a bit. So we start casting the poly, and then we double blink this way to actually land that polymorph. So we came up and around the pillar. Full polymorph there onto the priest, and now is kind of our go time for this warrior. Hopefully, casting a poly onto the warrior, a Ring of Frost onto the shaman. There's the cross CC. We need one more polymorph, and we do have a kidney shot, maybe into a full blind. So this is the cross CC we need with that Ring of Frost into the MC, the kidney shot into the blind. No trinket available. Cloaksy 55% life, tons of damage coming in, a little bit more, and he's going to go down. There's the grounding, and he finally gets slain. So that was an incredibly close game back and forth. 1% life, somehow came back to win that one. That was a fun matchup, right? When I played this, I was like, wow, it was probably the most fun arena matchup I've had this whole expansion so far. That was incredible. So definitely pretty riveting. I'm liking this Arcane spec, guys. I'm still playing a bit of Frost, bit of Arcane. I played a little bit of my Disc Priest as well. A little bit of my sub rogue, but I'm really excited for the arena season to start in 4 days from now. By the time you guys see this, maybe 2 or 3 days from now. Super stoked. Once again, guys, this is the damage breakdown. Arcane doesn't have the consistent pressure it used to, right? It doesn't have consistency, but it does have spell steals, executes, large burst, mobility, and it is very difficult to kill. So you have a lot of pros, right? A lot of really good things with the spec, but the consistent pressure obviously is much lower than something like a rogue or a warrior, or even a little bit lower than the Ellie Shaman as well. So that's the damage breakdown. It's not too surprising that Arcane's down there because you bring so much more to the table. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Having a lot of fun with PvP in this expansion so far. If you did not enjoy the video, give it a thumbs down. Talk to me down below in the comments about what you guys think of all of these games. Super hype games. I'm really excited to commentate them. And don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. See you guys in the next upload. Peace.